Everybody loves a list of tips and tricks and tools, and writers are no different. We love to source what might be supportive for us in our writing journey. So this is the first of 4 episodes where I am sharing 20 writing tips that my team and I, who are all published writers, and we support other published writers, have come up with to support you on your writing journey. Welcome to the first of 4, where we're going to talk about getting started and getting yourself set up as a writer. I'm so excited you're here. Let's dive in. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Written Compass. And this is actually going to be an awesome series. I've never done a series on The Written Compass. I've had some episodes that connect to another episode or a future episode. And my team and I have just been talking, and as we are entering the new year, we were just talking about what are the things that we see and have learned as writers and see in the writers that we work with as kind of like the cool insider trader writing tips secrets. And so we came up with this cool series that I want to do, and we're going to get started with it today. And essentially, this is going to be a series where I cover 20 writing tips. That's right, 20 writing tips that are going to help you get started and get yourself set up with writing. They're going to help you actually get your words down. They're going to help you with what are the tools that you might need to support you as a writer? And they're going to help you with that polishing, how do I make my words really sing? So I'm super excited for this series. It's fun to do a series because there's a little container that I get to walk you through, and you get to follow along, and hopefully you will find some things that resonate with you. So to get us started in the series, we're going to start, with the setup. How do you get started when you have an idea or when you're trying to cultivate and activate your writerly self, your embodied writing experience? So my team and I, just so you know, I want to give a shout out to them, are composed. There's 3 of us. So we have Taylor, who's our amazing behind the scenes person. She is the one who keeps us all in check. And she has published before. She is a part of our collaborative book that recently came out at the end of 2022. And that was called Capturing the In-Between. Go check it out on Amazon if you have not already. She is actually the first chapter in that book. She kicks us off really, really well. So you're going to hear some tips from her. You're going to hear from Cindy Urbanski, Dr. Cindy Urbanski, who is one of our amazing writing coaches and sits right alongside our clients. And she's got some tips in this. And then finally, Dr. Jeannie Reynolds, who is also one of our writing coaches, and she's our big idea person. She really helps us dream and scheme. So all of us have come to contribute. I'm not going to break down whose is what's because we've blended them all at this point, but those are the contributors, and I just wanted to give a shout out. Love my team, love my people. They are awesome, and we love to just come up with these things, and it's really fun. So this first episode is all about the setup, all about getting started. So I'm going to share 5 tips in each episode, and we're going to get started right now. So the first tip that we all agreed upon, but was shared in particular by one of us, was don't wait. Don't wait for the right time, because it never happens. There is no right time to start your writing journey or to actually put words down. So write in the car writer line, right while you're waiting at the doctor's office, right before you go to bed, right when you get up. Whenever it is, it doesn't matter. There's nothing sexy or any special secret about when you need to do writing. And we, in particular, with our embodied writing experiences and our legacy author experiences, we actually help our clients discover what their writing process is, what works for them. But the ultimate tip, number 1 tip for setting up and getting started is don't wait. There is no right time, so don't wait. Okay. Number 2 is to write yourself a little message. So you're sitting down, you've stopped waiting, and you're doing. Write yourself a little message at the beginning of wherever you're going to be writing. So if you're in a pen and paper space or a digital Google Doc or Word doc or Pages doc, write a little note at the beginning that really shares your intention. And actually, remember, this one was from Taylor, so I'm going to go ahead and share it directly from her. And she gave a little example of what might be an intention. It's kind of like a little love letter to yourself, a little writing love letter. And her example was, hey, self, today we're going to write. Whatever needs to be shared, I'm going to trust that it's meant to be read. And then as you're writing, you could refer back to this. So it's something that I actually do before I start a podcast. I just kind of ground down, set a little intention. You can do that mentally before you sit down to write. But I love this tip of actually writing it at the top of wherever you're going to be working. And if it's something you come back to often, like maybe you kind of create a little repeatable mantra for yourself, then maybe you keep that on your notebook when you look at it first thing, or maybe you have it always at the top of your document, or maybe you put it as a sticky note on your computer, or maybe you go grab some of our writerly swag that we have on Etsy, and we have some cool stickers like, yeah, I wrote that. That's one of my favorites. It's actually sitting on my water bottle next to my computer right now. But the intention here is to help you get started, to help motivate you. Write yourself a little message, write yourself a little intention, and then refer back to that as you're writing and going and want to keep yourself going. Another getting started tip number 3, is to develop some kind of habit. Now, you may be coming to the table, coming to your writing with some sort of system or process that has supported you. Great. But actually creating a little bit of a plan, making a calendar plan that involves gluing your butt to the chair, no matter what, come what may, is going to really help you stick to and be committed to your writing goals. So not only starting, but keeping you accountable to yourself. Because here's the deal, you're really only going to be accountable to yourself with your writing. And no one is going to be harping at you and demanding that you write. Okay. Even the people that we work with, our clients, we are there for loving accountability, but ultimately there is a point where they have to commit to themselves. So creating some kind of habit, make a calendar plan of some sort that's going to really support you and commit you to getting your butt in the seat and getting the words down is going to be a great way to get you started. And if you recall, I have a beautiful planning guide called This is the Year You Write Your Book. And it is available on Amazon. It's a short, lovely guide. That's a great way to create a calendar plan. It actually walks you through a full year of how to plan and commit to getting your words down. To go along with that habit and making that calendar plan, I want to encourage people to create a flexible, what I call a both and type of way of approaching your writing. So a lot of people believe that we must know exactly what we want to write before we write. And so you can imagine how this keeps us stuck. So it kind of can go like this. Oh, I'm working on my outline. Oh, I'm jotting down my chapter titles. Oh, once I nail down what order or what I want to focus on, what the book is actually going to be about. Think about that for a minute, y'all. What the entire book is going to be about. Then I'll get started, right? So yeah, you can play in the land of what are you thinking about. You can create lists or even outlines if that feels good. And to help you get started, tip number 4 is to be okay with ditching or creating very flexible structures for yourself. So if you find yourself spending more time working on finishing that outline than actually writing your words that someone else might actually be able to read and understand one day, and then it's time to stop outlining and actually start writing. So yes to plans. That's tip number 4. You can create a plan, but it needs to be flexible, right? It needs to be flexible. Tip number 5, do what you know writers do. Most of the people who come to us, they're, avid readers. They enjoy the creativity of others. And so stuff, about things that writers do. So sometimes kind of trying on a habit that you've seen other people do is going to help you take on that writerly role and really embody who you are as a writer, especially as you're creating your own writerly habit. All of us talk about sometimes how we don't actually feel like real writers, even though we've all published, we write all the time. And so in order to kind of get in the mood and get in the groove and get started, we kind of can channel our writing role models. So look to those people that you consider to be real writers and think about what they do. You could even go, if it's someone, well-known, Maya Angelou came to mind immediately as I was talking, or Glennon Doyle, and go and what do they talk about? What was their process? And then let that support you as you're developing your own process for writing. So those are the tips for getting started, getting set up. Let me go over them one more time quickly. So one is don't wait for the right time to write. It's not going to happen. There is no right time. Do it now. Do it often. Tip number two is to write a little love message, a little intention as you get started writing for that session or that day. Come back to it often. Number three is develop a habit. And you can do that by making a calendar plan or something that feels good for you that helps you know and plan for when you're going to actually put your butt in the seat and write. Number four is let that plan and that structure that you're starting to think you know about your book and what you want to write about it, let it be flexible, right? Let it be flexible. Make sure that if you're spending too much time on the planning and not enough time on the writing, you need to do a little both and. You need to flip the script a bit. And number five, let other writers model for you what writers do, right? Until you develop your own patterns and habits, let them support you. So that is our first of 4 episodes under the 20 writing tips that I'm going to be sharing. That was the first 5, and it's focused on getting started, getting set up. So of course, I want to hear which of these resonate most with you. I want to hear which ones you're going to try, which ones you've already done that you really love. Of course, we want to hear from you. So be sure you share this episode. Be sure you send me a message on Instagram at @ShaynaHartman_. We cannot wait to continue to support you with our second series of tips. We're going to do 5 more in the next episode, and I'll see you then. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Written Compass. If you are enjoying this content, do me a favor and go and review the podcast. This allows me to share and get these messages out to the people who really need them, who we want to read their books in the future. You can also go and share your thoughts and tag me at @ShaynaHartman_ on Instagram. Again, this is just a way for us to get connected and share the writing love. And if you know that you are ready to write your book, that message that's been burning inside of you for a long time, then I want to talk to you. My team and I want to talk to you. Head on over to ShaynaHartman.com and click Work with Us. From there, you'll see an application to explore and see if writing your book is your next best step.